Thank you for doing this interview and sharing your time with me in the UKKA. Could you introduce yourself, please?
Monique Valenzuela.
Okay. How did you get into martial arts, and what was the beginning like?
I began my martial arts journey when I was probably in the 6th grade. And like I had mentioned earlier, there was a dojo down the street from me, and I simply began watching from the window. And I was invited in by the instructor there, and he saw that I had this passion and interest in martial arts, and he actually took me on as a student for free. And that day he told me that I would be his first female black belt, and he said it with so much conviction that I believed it, and I committed from that day on to fulfill that promise. And so that's how my journey started.
Is that where most of your training took place?
Yes, in that same dojo. A couple of different instructors were introduced to me through my martial arts journey, which is where I also met Ziggy and Sifu Morgan, and all of my training took place in that dojo in UKKA.
How has martial arts helped you in an everyday life?
Martial arts taught me a lot of self-control in how to really channel and focus my energy on something positive. I was a little bit more of a kind of angry and a little bit more reckless child, and I didn't have a lot of guidance and kind of adult oversight, and that was provided for me there in the dojo. So it really provided that foundation where I met a lot of actual close family friends who ended up being my family, basically. And then it progressed into my career in law enforcement, my self-control, discipline there, being able to hold my own in the streets of LA as an LAPD police officer, and then just being a continued leader throughout my organization now, as a sergeant, a detective, and now a lieutenant.
Nice. What is your favorite martial arts memory?
I think my favorite martial arts memory is my black belt test. It was brutal. It was unexpected. It was a Friday night. I had trained and dedicated most of my after school time to going to the dojo, whether I was training for myself, helping the junior students prepare for a tournament, or training them, or instructing. It was unexpected. So we had basically just started a push-up competition between me and the other brown belts, and we were having a great time. We had already trained for hours, and at that time it was Sifu, Chuck Beach, and he said, "All right," and it was about 6 p.m., and he said, "You guys are ready." And we were like, "What are we ready for?" And he said, "You're ready to test. Your test begins now." And we had already been training for hours, and he's like, "You're gonna be here all night." And we trained, and we were sparring, and we were doing duck walks and push-ups and pushing our bodies to the limits, and we were sparring blindfolded, and it was brutal, and we were doing brick breaking, and we didn't leave there until 2 in the morning. And he said, "Go take a nap, come back, I'll see you here at 6 in the morning." And then we came back and we continued our training, and then we were finally belted. And that was one of the most remarkable moments, because it was the moment that I had envisioned since the first time I stepped foot in that dojo, when that promise was fulfilled. And it was awesome, because it started with a push-up competition, which I probably wouldn't have started a push-up competition if I knew I was gonna be training all night. So.
What is your favorite story about Grandmaster Morgan?
Grandmaster Morgan. He has just always been a very consistent and stable kind of father figure in my life. He has been very disciplined, and I remember I had won a competition, and I presented one of my trophies to him. It was a first place. It was a really big trophy. And I kneeled down to him because that's kind of what we had done in my prior practice. And he thought it was so beautiful, the gesture, but he had taught me that we don't really kneel before man. We only kneel for God. And he was so humble in that approach. He was like, that was so beautiful, but I'm not, like, that's not me. That's not who I am. And I thought that was really humble. And it was just kind of a shift in leadership and a shift in the style of martial arts and like the philosophy of it, and just how he didn't really edify himself. He edified the art. And I thought that was a pretty incredible moment. And I remember it so clearly. And so that's probably one of my favorites.
What is your favorite story about Senior Master Siegfried?
I have a lot. I don't think that my memories, so there's with Master Siegfried, it's twofold. My relationship with him is both in the dojo and outside of it. So in the dojo, I saw him first as student, and then because I was senior to him when he first started, and then we became equals. And there was a point where then he became a mentor to me, where I realized I had so much more to learn from this man than I could ever teach him. And he opened his heart and his home to me and gave me a place and a family. And so one of my favorite moments is, just being introduced to his family and him entrusting me with them as my own, and his daughter becoming one of my best friends. So I think there was a part, like I said, I was a little more rough around the edges as a kid. I carried around this really cool knife when I was a kid for protection, and I fell asleep on his couch and I left it at the side. And when I woke up in the morning, it was gone, and I have yet to ever see that beautiful knife again. So I'm kind of want it back now that I'm a grown 43-year-old police lieutenant. But that's just like, he always protected me from myself. And I really appreciated that. He wasn't just looking out for my physical fitness, but my spiritual growth and my mental health. And he was just, him and his beautiful family were just well-rounded mentors and a safe haven for me.
What does your black belt mean to you?
I think that was one of the first goals, one of the first things that was tangible, where there were a couple of things stacked against me, where before the moment that I was told I could have that, there weren't a lot of opportunities told to me as a child that things were possible. And after that was obtained, I realized, and then God provided a good amount of individuals surrounding me, telling me pretty much anything was obtainable. That was like the first thing that I achieved that made me realize anything was possible, through God and the people he had surrounded me with, and then through the talents that he also gave and provided. So after that, I felt like anything was possible. So I got this full ride scholarship to college, and I traveled the world, and I got my degrees, and then I became a cop, and I was one of the first to promote and keep promoting. And it's just that was the first thing that marked how capable I was if I just kind of placed my faith in the possibilities and walked in faith and trusted the mentors that he surrounded me with. And he's been really, really good at doing that throughout my life.
How do you see your martial arts journey continuing?
I think, yeah, I have a 2-year-old who is a fighter. She came out kicking, and she's amazing. I'm super excited to teach her. But I have been afforded opportunities through law enforcement to mentor young women. So I have been given a lot of opportunities in this platform that I have as a female police officer and leader, to provide female self-defense classes, and even teach youth in the communities in underprivileged, underserved communities with free martial arts lessons. And so I feel like if I just keep answering to that, you know, like being able to provide, and then I do women's self-defense courses for senior females who had just graduated from high school, entering college, and kind of preparing them for college, and just like safety tips. I think that those are the things that I'm really excited about. Like, that's my platform. That's how I demonstrate and share, you know, my art. But I think that's probably the extent of it. And then through Lena, my 2-year-old daughter, because she's a fireball. She is fierce. Next.
Any last thoughts?
I think that it's awesome. I'm super excited about the possibility of you being a black belt. I see the talent and fire in you. You're no nonsense. And I think that any woman who, or anybody who wants to be a martial artist or black belt has the potential to do so, as long as you dedicate yourself. And it shouldn't be easy. It should be hard, because then it wouldn't be special. It wouldn't mean anything when you enter the room and someone says, this is our black belt, this is, you know, one of our senior black belts.